When it's cold and I want some warming inside, this is the book I turn to. English Food by Jane Gregson. It's got just the sort of things you want to read about. You want to eat, but reading about it is often fine. To make a goose pie, steak, kidney and oyster pudding, and it's got full of my notes and everything because I just have never been able to stop reading this book. And I love this one too, Gastronomy of Italy by Anna Del Conte. And I suppose in a way I think of it as, you know, like a travel brochure in culinary form, but it's also the case it is the most comprehensive guide, so that you want to cook something Italian, this is where you look first. Another wonderful escapist volume, classic home desserts, you know, sort of food you want to eat, but try not to eat. Of course, I don't always manage that struggle, but still, lovely, comforting, warming puddings. And this is one of my favourites, chocolate cow cake, which I've kind of fiddled with and done various versions. And this is the perfect sort of thing to cook when you want to potter about the kitchen. It's absorbing, but not too demanding. I mean, in fact, this is very easy altogether. It's mostly stirring with a bit of whisking, which I do mechanically. So I've melted some chocolate here. It's 250 grams, really wonderful dark chocolate. It's had a few minutes in a medium microwave, which I think is the easiest way. This is some lovely soft butter, unsalted. So I just need 125 grams of this, so half the packet. And the idea is, you know, put it in the chocolate, which is warm, and it will just melt into it. And then after it's melted, I'm just going to leave it there to cool slightly before adding it to the cake. Great. It'll be fine. Let's leave it there. Right. This is a flourless chocolate cake, which I think is the best sort. And so what you have, also to give it heft and rise, is eggs. So I need 4 egg whites. I need these yolks, so I'll put them here. I find it easier to whisk the whites first, simply because then I have everything ready. The whites are there, I just have to get on with the rest of the cake and fold them in and we're off. Flourless cakes are also quite good because they're more convincing as puddings, I think, than an ordinary, you know, English flour cake. In fact, this cake I did for pudding for my New Year's Eve dinner last year. Last one. What I need to do is whisk these whites until they're sort of well and frothy, and then gradually add some sugar. Right, I need 100 grams of sugar. That's about in between 6 and 7 of these. Just spoonful by spoonful. Caster sugar. What I want is for the whites to be firm and glossy, but not stiff or dry. There, that looks great. Oh, peace at last. It's like that blissful moment when people stop playing bagpipes. Great, now I'm going to get on, you'll see how easy this is. I've got the 4 yolks here, and so I'll just have 2 whole eggs. There's always something very satisfying about a recipe which uses a whole carton of eggs, I find. Okay, now sugar, 75 grams, 5 of these. Tablespoon in baking always means a 15 ml spoon, or think of it as 3 teaspoons. Okay, a quick little whisk. We could use a wooden spoon, frankly. That's what's rather nice about this. It isn't laborious, should we say. And now, zest of an orange. I mean, you don't have to add this, it's just if you feel like it. I mean, I don't always like orange with chocolate, but I think here it seems to work very well. I think that the chocolate is so intense and the egg whites make it so light that it somehow just gives a third dimension. Going further along the orange route, bit of Cointreau. And again, I use this because I do always have a stash of this, but there's no need to get it specially for this. You could use rum, which is always delicious, Kahlua, Frangelico, I mean, list is endless. Or if you want to add nothing in the way of liqueur and no orange. I think a bit of vanilla is probably a good idea. Okay, very, very nearly there now. Just pour in the chocolate and butter mixture. Mix that in. And then the whites. Now, when you fold in whites, it's easiest always if you start off by giving a dolloped spoonful into the basic mixture and whisking really vigorously. Don't be scared, just completely beat it in, because this will make the kind of base mixture much lighter and it'll make it much easier then to fold in the egg whites. You won't have to whisk all the air out of them. Now we don't want that whisk. Okay, now you need to be a patient person for folding. I'm not particularly, but I think somehow it's always better not to be scared of egg whites. I know that the idea is you've got to be gentle and not get any air out, but if you're too scared, I think somehow it does sometimes permeate its way into the cooking. I think you just have to relax and it will go better. So look, I'm just folding in light, lifting it up so the air stays in, but you know, no need to exaggerate. And that's it. And then all that remains to be done is to pour it into the tin. Don't grease the tin, completely dry, but just put some baking parchment at the base. Beautiful. Leave yourself some in the bowl for eating out later. And the thing about these flourless cakes, you know, which have egg whites as their raising agent, is that they rise really quite a lot, quite radically on baking, and then as they cool they sink damply in the middle, and that's what makes them so delicious, and it's absolutely fabulous. Anyway, got to be baked now. The oven's preheated at 180. It's about 35-40 minutes. So in the oven. Don't be alarmed at how just cratery and splintery it gets. It's meant to be like that, and the whole point is this crater that you'll get will be filled with a softly whipped cream just with a bit of Cointreau added to match the Cointreau in the base, and then dusted with some cocoa.